every time I see the protesters and footage of the protesters, they seem to be completely possessed by an anger that they've now had enough. Do you think that they're going to continue to protest indefinitely?
Well, one thing is for a fact that Iran has changed forever. As of last night, there were protests in more than 156 cities throughout the country in all 31 provinces. According to the information provided by the network of the People's Mujahideen Organization of Iran, which is the main Iranian resistance movement inside the country, more than 240 protesters, men and women, have been killed. More than 12,000 have been arrested. But despite this heavy crackdown, the protest continues because the issue is not simply hijab or compulsory hijab anymore. The issue is much bigger and much beyond that. The Iranian people are going for a revolution. They want to overthrow the regime in its entirety. And there are very interesting characteristics of this uprising that differentiates that from anything people have seen before. Iran has totally changed. You see the protests are happening all over the country. People from all walks of life, poor, middle class, upper middle class, are in the streets. Men and women, and particularly brave women and young brave women, are taking the lead. And this is absolutely unprecedented. And they are very courageous. And they don't basically dodge when the security forces attack them and crack down. So the regime is in deep trouble. What you see is the culmination of 4 decades of the regime's repressive policies, corruption, nepotism, and people simply are frustrated and they want a regime change. If one listens to the slogans in the streets, they are all targeting Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, calling for death of Khamenei, death of this regime, and they say neither the Shah nor the Ayatollahs we want freedom. So people are not going back, they are going forward. So the situation is very fluid, and people are very determined, as you said.
But you say that you say the government is in trouble, but presumably I know it's different this time, but surely, I mean, it's in their interest, isn't it, to continue the status quo and to clamp down with just more and more personnel?
Well, actually, so far as the regime is concerned, they have only one policy, and that's to kill more, to arrest more, to torture more. And this has been the policy for the past 4 decades. That's not anything new. But the fact of the matter is people have come, as I said, in the streets. For instance, in Tehran alone, which is, more than 10 million people, there are protests in some nights in more than 30 different locations. So it doesn't allow the regime to amass its crack troops or anti-riot troops. And whenever even they amass, the people fight back and push back. And as I said, young people are at the forefront, but older people are helping them out. So one thing is very evident. When you look at the unanimity of the slogans and you see how pervasive it is, in basically all the major metropolitans, you have this protest going every night. As I said, the situation is very different. Obviously, so far as the regime is concerned, more repression and more crackdown is at work. But the question is, how far can it go and how effective could it be? As of last night, more than 12 days have passed. And 2 weeks ago, who would have thought that you would see such a scenes for 2 weeks in Iran, unabated, despite this crackdown?